brother.
Hey, brother. Welcome back, episode 3.
Episode 3, man. We're packing them up at this point, man.
We have. It's a record for us.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, welcome back to Hey Brother, Independent Masonic podcast out of Kansas, focused on Kansas. Just to let you know, the views and opinions here are those of our own, not of our lodges or Grand Lodge. But we're happy to have all of you with us. Happy to have you with us, brother. You had a little bit of excitement in your neck of the woods.
I tell you what, yeah, I live in Ottawa, but the real story is I don't know if it's a sign from the Grand Architect, because the brothers of Peace Lodge 243 in Lewisburg have been trying to get me to come over for Masonic education, and my schedule's just all wacky and wonky. And we finally settled for this week, this Monday. And I was in Peace Lodge. They had a great meal before Lodge, as they always do, 6:30, second and fourth Mondays in Lewisburg. And wife calls me and says, hey, they're sounding the sirens in Ottawa. This is about 7:20. Oh, I look at the radar. It'll be fine. And we get in Lodge, we get open, and somebody gets the alert on their phone. Oh, hey, there's a tornado on the ground in Ottawa.
Of course.
What a great husband and father I am to be sitting 30 miles to the east. So Lodge, there's that moment in Lodge, and then they're conducting business, and the tornado sirens go off in Lewisburg, and they proceeded to quickly close, and away we all went. So interesting history for the Lodge there, I thought, because I hope the secretary puts that in the minutes, because that's the kind of stuff that makes Lodge minutes really cool. When Lodge is going fine, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 we closed and done. But I guess I wasn't meant to bring Masonic education in Lewisburg.
So you didn't get to present at all. They barely even got stuff going and then had to head out.
They said it's the best presentation I ever gave. So yeah.
Well, hey man, you could also say you had a standing ovation, right?
Everyone I did.
Get up and get out.
But there's a lot of stuff going on in Lewisburg. I got to see their consent agenda, and they have a ton of stuff going on there. I encourage people to attend. Again, it's the second and fourth Mondays, 6:30 for the fellowship meal, 7:30 is the tile time. So great experience for what there was of it for me in Lewisburg. But got home, and luckily everything was okay. Had a ton of brothers checking on me, and I do appreciate that. And that's the way it goes. I mean, we all do that. I mean, that's what
Absolutely. We do. Well, so I know, luckily, it didn't get your house from what I heard, but you said it was just a couple blocks from you.
It did, and I have not heard from any of the brothers here in Ottawa that it affected them either. There were some businesses damaged. I know some homes had some wind damage here and went to the east, but I have not heard of any Masons in distress or in need.
Okay.
If there are, I would encourage the brothers to reach out to other brothers so we can get the help that's needed there. I mean,
absolutely.
That's what we do.
Have you had a chance to get up and see like the Masonic building, or the you guys have an older Masonic building there as well? It's no longer a lodge.
So this tornado thing here in Ottawa, in Franklin County, it's at the south end of town, and the Masonic Lodge is in the north end. So all of downtown Ottawa, no matter how it looked on TV, downtown Ottawa not touched at all. It was all on the extreme south end of Ottawa. So if you're from this area, it was near, I don't know, it's the Dairy Queen, a little bit to the south of there. But it could have been a lot worse. But a great response from the first responders and the community. And the town is getting back to shape pretty quick. It's been amazing. The outpouring from surrounding communities, it's just been amazing. And that's the way it is here in the Midwest. I've told several people that.
Absolutely.
And how's things going for you?
Man, we're not too far from you. I think we're about 30 minutes north from you. So we were dealing with the same scare of those storms came out of nowhere. I think the biggest one for us we didn't really even know about till the next morning was Hillsdale, which really 5-10 minutes from us. And that one did some damage. I think Ottawa definitely had the most in the mix. But other than that, been quite busy. Got the pre-roll video of the episode done, so I'm happy with that.
If people are just joining us live or have jumped in the rewatch, you need to scroll back or go back and watch the opening, because tonight was the first night I'd seen it, and wow, you've dug out some great pictures. I mean,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
great
I mean, it's supposed to be the Kansas podcast, right? So we're getting a little bit of everybody in there.
I'll tell you what, I don't want to pick out a favorite picture, but one of my favorites, there's a lot of favorites, is the one of then Grandmaster Michael Johnson and Jeffrey Boykin, Grandmaster Prince
Yeah.
Hall.
That's
And
a classic.
it was classic. Whoever, I think maybe Tracy snapped that. Tracy Bloom, the Grand Secretary, snapped it as they were walking out. And it's just two Master Masons who happen to be Grand Masters in stride walking towards the camera. And they got put on the cover of the Kansas Mason. And it was beautiful. Just said the Kansas Mason. And then,
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
perfect.
It looks like it was custom shot for the cover. It's
yes.
perfect.
And it wasn't. It was just a random spur of the moment. Oh, hey, look at that click. And it just spoke volumes for Masonry in Kansas, period. So,
Absolutely.
a ton of great pictures in that intro video. So go back and check that out if you haven't. It's better than what we're doing, probably. Just saying.
Yeah, well, I will say, as far as those catching reruns or anything like that, I do clip that off. I think it gets clipped off of the YouTube side, but mainly before we put it over, like on Spotify and stuff. I don't want people to get bored with that. So make sure to join us live and dive in a couple minutes early, and you'll see the pre-roll video there. We will have, hopefully next time, I got it done, but it should have that little pesky countdown clock so you can actually keep track there, but I didn't get that uploaded in time today. So we've got Brother Staley with us joining this evening. Good evening, brother. Thanks for joining.
We've had a lot of brothers check in. I heard from a brother from across the pond, Michael Stoops, watched a couple of episodes. And so, hello, most worshipful Michael Stoops. Hope things are going well over there. Thanks for joining us on the rewatch or live if you're watching tonight. So, always exciting that Kansas Masons, wherever so dispersed, join us for the podcast.
Absolutely. And good evening there, Brother Jonathan. Thank you so much for joining in as well. Definitely need to get Stoops on in a future episode. He's been up to some fun things across the pond there.
He really has, and he is doing some things that we need to talk about. And if we could hear from him, even if we have to record an episode, that we need to do that, period.
Absolutely.
And that goes for any Mason as well. If you got that Mason that's doing stuff, let us know. Let's get him on the show, because this is a Kansas show. And that's what it's all about. It's very timely, because this is, second, third week of April in 2026. So let's get it going and keep current.
Indeed.
That's what it's all about right here.
Well, for our main topic this evening, we're going to talk about some Facebook pages that have been causing some drama, I guess you could say, over the past several years, and has just gotten worse and worse. We did invite on a special guest, our Grand Secretary, this evening. He's also got lodged, though, so he said he was going to try to jump in. We'll see if he's able to make that happen, and we can get some more info from him. Yes. But, Brother Kellerman, you know a lot about this because you headed up the publications committee for quite a while, which oversaw social media, and these have been quite pesky, no?
It is nonsense. There is another spoof page of the Grand Lodge of Kansas, and they consistently advertise trying to sell stuff. And oh my gosh, so many people.
They've tricked quite a few brothers at this point, unfortunately.
Maybe a few Kansas ones, but most of it is brothers outside of Kansas.
Yeah.
They sell Masonic label. They profess to sell Masonic labeled cool looking stuff. And we are suckers for anything with a square and compass on it. And brothers are getting bilked out of hundreds of dollars. And then they contact the actual Grand Lodge of Kansas, only to be told we've reported to Facebook hundreds of times. That's not a figure of just a random number. Hundreds of times it's been reported. Meta refuses to do anything about it. Period. Yeah. It's incredible.
So I want to point out that I believe this is one of the oldest ones that we've known about. They stole this cover. And if you look here, this is the troubling part. They got 42,000 followers following this page. Just scrolling through here, there's a brother we know right there.
Yes.
Taskmaster's thoughts?
Yeah, it's just, it's close. They grab stuff from other pages and use it. It's got more followers than the actual Grand Lodge of Kansas page.
Yeah.
By far. Because they post crapola.
And a lot of the pictures on here are not even Kansas, but
No.
guys don't know that. Like, this is a brother from California I know pretty well. Obviously, Dwayne Marshall above, Past Master's Thoughts, and they actually stole his whole post off Past Master's Thoughts and just posted it right on the Grand Lodge page. But going back, like Brother Kellerman was saying, if we scroll back, and they've switched, but if we scroll back far enough, there are quite a few posts where they've tried to sell Masonic whiskeys and cigars and all kinds of stuff. They get your donation is what it ends up being, but nothing ever gets sent out. They just take your money and run.
Yeah, it's annoying, and we reported it to Meta almost since the very beginning. It's very frustrating. I feel bad for the brothers that we can't help them, but when you think about it, I mean, I don't know. There's just so many ways in my head to tell that it's a scam, but we're very trusting a lot, especially when we think it's a fellow Mason.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, especially with so many brothers being out of state that just assume it's the true Grand Lodge page, they invest. And then, I mean, I can't tell you how often the Grand Lodge page gets a message saying, hey, you guys scammed me. I'm like, no, we didn't. But I wanted to bring this up. We've obviously been dealing with this for years, but recently, and not to throw any shade, this is how deceptive this is in the big picture. I've noticed we had, what was it, was it the Imperial Shrine, or is it one of like the main shrine pages shared a post from the spoof
from
page,
the fake page.
and it was actually the Grand Lodge, tagged them and everything. And then there was also Kansas York Rite Body, one of the main ones. And we've seen this over and over, but that's the thing, is even some of our main Kansas bodies are getting really confused and thinking this is the true Grand Lodge page, and then tagging it, giving it more credibility, and we're just seeing the spread like wildfire.
And yes, we have thought about getting the verified button, and that won't fix the problem. Facebook, Meta we've sent them all the documentation showing that we're the copyright owner of the Grand Lodge seal, all our documentation, all our papers and such, and they don't care because the other page is getting a lot of views, and that's what works the algorithm.
So, and this is quite an old issue. You guys know my OCD on the marketing side. I've never been a fan that our page was actually called Kansas Grand Lodge and not Grand Lodge of Kansas AFAM, the brand, right? Well, that's what some of the spoof pages are claiming. So early on, we actually tried to change our page name to correct it to what it should be, and Facebook denied us. They kind of took the other page aside, saying we were infringing on them at that point. But what I wanted to show here, and I'm sharing screen for this, since this is us up here. For anyone that wants to know the true Grand Lodge, we're the only one I can find that says Kansas Grand Lodge. And that particular page has only 9.8 thousand followers. The biggest one that we showed you guys, that I think is the oldest, 42,000 followers. They look more official than us, is the problem.
With that horrible Super Bowl graphic.
And a Gmail email account, but they're linked to our address, they're linked to our website, etc. But the more troubling thing, if you jump on here and you just search for Grand Lodge of Kansas, you've got us up top. You've got the Prince Hall, and you've got some of the area pages, but then here's a spoof page. Here's another spoof page. I don't 100% know about this District 2. That doesn't, do you know if that's legit,
I
Kellerman?
don't believe that's ours anymore. No. Huh, maybe so. Haven't looked at that one for a while.
All right, so maybe that's a defunct page, but here's another Grand Lodge page, another Grand Lodge page. St. James number 50. No, okay, that's Prince Hall. Disregard that one. But here's another Grand Lodge, and this one's claiming Grand Lodge of Kansas out of England, Arkansas. But the problem is, and here's another one down here. There is just tons of them, and this is only searching for Grand Lodge of Kansas. I guarantee you there's even more variants of this existing out there. But it's a real problem. I feel personally like it's hitting us harder than most, but I've personally seen this. They're going after all kinds of different Grand Lodges. I know Grand Lodge of California has had several spoof pages, and so many others I don't even know about. it's a huge issue, but it's definitely one that we need to get the word out more, because we're seeing a lot of Kansas brothers even get confused.
And it also doesn't help when we get an email this week from somebody purporting that they're the Grand Master of Kansas, because that happened over the weekend or late last
That's
week.
right.
And it was just a weird email to start with, because the Grand Master probably not just going to send an email saying, hey brother, you got time for a quick call or whatever it said there. And it's been just really odd, to say the least, because when the Grand Master sends you an email, especially if you don't know him, that should raise some questions. And just the whole verbiage of it was weird to start with. See if I can find it here. I guess I can't find anything. I think I blocked it already. But the Grand Secretary did send out a notice about it as well.
And that's been a clever one too. I mean, I believe that's happened several years in a row now. I know for a fact I personally got one. I can't remember if it was a text or an email, but I got one from McClarty that wanted me to open a Google Drive or something like that. And I'd reached out to him because it seemed a little off, and that is not me.
Yes. Yeah, it was just, I got the thing that the Grand Secretary sent out a thing that says here on Monday about it. So if you haven't checked your email in a while, check that. And there's a little bit about that in there. So
that's a big issue for sure.
Yeah, it just makes me very angry.
Absolutely.
I know you hear that all the time. I think what else I wanted to tell you. Last week we talked about some stuff that was going on, and I totally forgot to mention that the Prince Hall Grand Lodge was having the DJ Let Fishing Derby. And apologies to Most Wishful Johnny Eves for us not mentioning that, but that happened this past weekend, April the 11th, there in Junction City. And we'll try to get better about that. And if you got events you want us to pop here on the show, just make sure you send them to us. But that was a great event from what I understand. So
absolutely. I didn't get them saved, but I did. It came across my feed. I saw some pictures from the event. They were giving out poles to kids and stuff. It was pretty cool. Pretty neat. I wish I could have made it out.
Tell you, the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Kansas does so many community family events around the state on their own, with Eastern Star, with the different bodies. They do so much stuff that involves the youth in the local communities around the state. It's just amazing. And I encourage everyone to participate in those as their cable tow allows. So,
absolutely. Well, there's actually several events happening around Kansas since our last episode. I was quite pleased. And I'm going to see if you got a minute or two to stay after. We're going to try to get some emails out to Kansas brothers, get some more word out about the show, and hopefully, get lodges more interactive, knowing that, hey, we're trying to be your guys' voice here. So, send us over those pictures, send us over those notices for the events coming up. But we were quite happy to see several events coming up through the last week over social media. Let me pull up just a couple of them here. It's the first one we had on the list. Lindsberg Lodge, number 397, congratulating Brother Connor Barnes on receiving his fellowcraft degree. Pretty awesome to see. Brother, you ever been out to that lodge, Lindsberg?
Lindsberg is it's cozy. How's that? It's right there in downtown Lindsberg. Make sure you go eat before great Swedish restaurant there. But the lodge, I've been there. It's got an interesting little podium for the master and secretary. I've been there a couple times over the years. Very nice little lodge. Historic. Of course, you could say that about all the lodges, I suppose, now.
Let's see. We also had some out of Albert Pike Lodge 303 down in Wichita.
They pack a ton in there. I mean, it's largest by membership lodge in the state, but they had a ton in attendance the other day for a presentation of Bible and aprons, and then a plaque to a brother as well. But just amazing what's going on down there at Pike. I mean, I don't know when they find time to do all their degree work.
I'm going to give us a little challenge. I think we need to get somebody from Pike on the show and talk, because, yeah, they do have the state's largest membership, but I'd say most of our lodges have a pretty hefty membership, and we only see a handful on a regular basis, right? But I
10%.
feel like the average photos we see coming out of Pike, they are very good at packing the seats and
Yeah.
really getting quality engagement.
They are. They work really well down there. They have a weekly event. I think it's weekly or monthly event. Almost a discovering Freemasonry thing at a Masonic uh, building, and they work really hard down there with all the lodges.
Absolutely. Let's see here. What else did we have? We had one out of the Kansas group. Let me find this one.
So don't forget down there, down in my neck of the woods where I work in Southeast, down there, Walnut and Vulcan Lodge. They got together with Virginia Lodge out of Savinburg, another small rural lodge. And tell you what, Grandmaster, Deputy Grandmaster, Grand Senior Warden, and 3 district deputies were there for an emblem presentation. And I was unable to go, but they said the dinner had 105 people there.
Wow.
105. I don't know where they would have set them in that building. They're probably setting them on the sidewalk out there. Just 105 for that's crazy to honor those life service recipients. They had a 70-year member there, 70
Absolutely.
years as a Mason, a Master Mason. That is amazing. And I believe that I don't know this, but I believe that 70-year member is the one standing right in the center. And look at the smile on his face.
Yeah.
You need to stop this later and zoom in. The smile, or go to their page, the Kansas Freemasonry page, and just zoom in and look at the smile on that guy's face. Just incredible. Just wow. They're having a good time down there in Walnut. 105 people. How do you plan for that meal? That's crazy good.
Yeah. That's wild. It's funny because you go back and read some of the old minutes and stuff, and a lot of our older lodges aren't huge. There are some massive ones out there, but most of them are normal size. And
Yeah.
you read stuff like that about there was X amount of people in here. It's like, what?
Yes.
But while it's impressive to see it in those days, that, and I hate to say it, it's just not normal in today's Masonry.
It is not. And those 2 lodges are very small. I'm trying to pull up. Vulcan Lodge has 47 members, and Virginia Lodge has 34.
Okay.
So that's just a great turnout to honor those brothers. Great turnout.
Well, brother, I need to pull up. I failed while I was working on the pre-roll video to get the slides for dates pulled up. Do you know anything coming up before our next show? I'll go ahead and get the calendar, though.
I did want to mention, last week we talked about, in the previous episode, we talked about lodges that do courtesy work or people that travel. And I was talking with the Grand Secretary the day. He is the secretary out at Clay Center Lodge. And he said they've got an entered apprentice who is a really go-getter, working on proving up the long way. And he was debating about how they're going to do the 2nd degree, because he said his lodge, which is Clay Center, doesn't have the ability to confer the 2nd degree with the people they got in-house. And we had some discussion, and I was like, you know what? We won't mention it on the show. We'll reach out to the district, an area deputy if we need to. But I know brothers out there that will come to Clay Center and put on degree work, because I don't want to say that's an easy one to do, because you got that senior deacon part that is very lengthy, but there are brothers close by there that can do it. And I know Tracy himself can confer the degree if he wanted to. Heck, Alex, if they do it, you want to go out there and help them or go out and watch?
Yeah, I'd be down, man. We talked about making this a little bit of a traveling thing to start with, so I think that'd be cool.
Sure, we could do the show early, could do it late, we could record it, whatever, because they meet on Wednesday night. I'd be willing to travel out there just to see guys coming in to do degree work. So
did you say they had a set date, or they're working on it?
They don't. They're going to discuss it tonight at Lodge.
Okay.
I said, just get me a date, and I will help put that trestle board together. Because if I want to talk the talk here about brothers doing it, I'm going to help put that together. And if it means I have to come out there and confer, and you and I have to do the questions and answers, that's what we're going to do.
Oh man, it's been a hot minute. I used to do those a lot. It'd be good for me. Feet to the fire.
It would. And I don't mind driving out. That's a several-hour drive for us. But you know what? If that's what it takes, that's what we're going to do. And I encourage other brothers and lodges to make it known that you will be willing to to either do courtesy work at your lodge or go help do work, because that's what we do. Let's make Masons in our home lodges. I mean, create that connection right there in our home lodge. It's that special thing you can't get anywhere else. That's my opinion, of course. I mean, there's a lot of other thoughts out there.
Absolutely. Well, before we dive into dates here, for the few guys we have joining in with us and those that watch the recording afterwards, we've already told you guys before, we want to be your voice to the craft here. So please reach out to us with stuff you got going on. With those joining in with us live this evening, as I get to this, go ahead and throw in the comments or the chat there if your lodge has anything going on this week before our next episode. We'll be happy to shout that out for you as well. And then let's go ahead and take a look here. So if we jump on to...
Yeah, here's Grand Lodge calendar. I'm pulling up on my phone. You can get it there too.
There you go. If we pull up the public Grand Lodge calendar, the only thing I'm seeing before our next episode is OES Grand Chapter has their meetings, looks like Monday through Wednesday. And then just a little bit into the future there, later next week, we've got Alta Vista, Scholarships Pen, and Widow Pens.
So, and it's not on the calendar. A brother had sent me a message a while back. Russell Lodge is having their annual 2-gun shoot this Saturday, the 18th, out in Russell. It's their fundraiser. If you want to know more about it, just hop on their Facebook page or contact the lodge. It's one of those things that I told them, just shoot me something. They sent me a thing, and that's coming up this weekend out in Russell.
Fantastic. Looking over on the Kansas Council of Masonic Orders, we've got listed on there. We talked about the Harlem Wizards games.
Yeah.
Which are really cool. If you guys haven't checked those out, I think they're towards the end of it now, so I'm not sure if there's still tickets up, but I encourage you guys, check them out on social media, look at the website and see if they are. If there are, grab a ticket and go see them. They've got games, looks like tomorrow and Friday, both games there. Tomorrow they've got a Unity event. I guess that's the Harlem Wizards as well.
With the Harlem Wizards, the potential of taking a picture with the tallest Mason in Kansas is very high, because Brother Corleone goes to most of those. And I enjoy getting pictures with him because he's like, I don't know, 11 foot 12 or something like that. I don't know. He's just monstrous big.
On the low side, yeah.
On the low side. And that's without his shoes on. So, yeah.
Man, I tell you what, I'm 6 foot. Like, I never feel short much, right? But, like, I see him at Grand Lodge, and he comes up to give me a hug, and I just naturally go on my tippy toes and feel dumb every time.
He gave me a hug at Grand Lodge, and I felt so short because, I mean, he leans down and he's almost folded in half to get to me.
Yeah.
But if you haven't met Brother Corleone, he is doing great things down in the southern part of our state. He's based out of Wichita, but he goes all across the bottom of the state, and he's really gave a lot of punch down there. And he's got a great story, but he never tells it because that's not what he's about.
That's very true. I'll give another shout out there and a plug for our pre-roll video. Next week, hop on a couple minutes early, watch through that pre-roll. You'll find a gem of a photo in there of Brother Corleone, and you'll just see how tall he is. We had a Brother Patrick Craddock offer to help him tie his bow tie. Was it not this past, but the year before, I believe it was, in Manhattan. And Brother Craddock is up on a chair just to get to the right level. It was pretty classic.
Oh, goodness. If you're looking for study clubs, Ben Hur's got one coming up on Thursday. And on Friday, there's one at Hutch Reno. Let's see here. On Sunday the 19th, it says there's one at Salina. That's by Caledonia Lodge is doing that one. And you can get on the Trestle Board calendar and get the times on these. And there's several others. Looks like Albert Pike's doing a B card study club on Monday the 20th. And there's study club at Wyandotte 3. And on the 21st, Tuesday, Belleville Lodge having study club. And that's at 10 a.m. So if you want something in the morning, that's at 10 a.m. And then in the evening on Tuesday the 21st, North Star Lodge in Wichita. So lots of opportunities to work on your ritual or whatever you need to work on. And that's what study clubs are all about. And anybody, you don't have to be a member of that lodge to attend a study club.
Right. And you know what I love about the study clubs is, for some brothers, that can be their Masonic experience, right? If you're just not always able to make it to lodge, like, that's a great point. But within that fact, there is a lot of diversity in meeting times with study clubs. You have some that meet different nights of the week that may fit you better. If your lodge and you have something going on, but there's another lodge, go hang out with those brothers for the night, right? But at the same point, we see some, like you mentioned there, that meet in the mornings during the week. And for some brothers, that's the best time they can do it.
Oh, Danny Hendricks checking in, says the Grandmaster and Deputy Grandmaster saying hello from Wichita. So, hey, brothers.
Hey, brothers.
Thanks for tuning in as Grand Pursuivant Danny Hendricks there. He's the master at the Grandmaster's home lodge this year, Emporia Lodge number 12. So it's nice to see them checking in. Traveling, wonder if that was a surprise visit tonight. Just good possibility there.
Hopefully we get some feedback. We'd love to cover some of that we've talked about before.
We sure have.
Well, brother, we are coming up on our 30 minutes here where we're trying to keep it at. Before we wrap up, do you got anything else that we need to put out for our next episode?
Just, again, I can't emphasize enough, if you have something you want us to cover, study club, an activity that's going on at your lodge, let us know. Just shoot us an email, shoot us a message, shoot us a text if you got it. We're not hard to get a hold of. We'd love to put it out there and get more people to your event. That,
and if you've got a short topic you'd like us to cover, we're also looking for some main topics to put in our episodes like we did this evening with the spoof pages we got to bring awareness to. Be happy to have you guys on for a little 5 to 10 minute interview on the show. Definitely. And talk more Kansas Masonry.
Definitely. And if we need to go somewhere, I think, Alex, we talked about we may have to travel to the Grand Lodge of Kansas archives and dig.
Yeah, we were having fun with that discussion. And I made it up there a couple years, probably a year and a half ago, and I wasn't even up there a couple hours, and I came up with a list of stuff that Most Worshipful Bloom didn't even know was up there. There is some really cool stuff in those boxes.
There is. So things we can do. But let us know what you want to see, brothers. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. We'll soon be on the Facebook platform once the waiting period passes, but this is your show. So let's make it happen.
All right. Until next time. See you later, brothers.